how we feel. Actually exemplify our pain in front of us and help us and be so loving. You see? And I feel like Anubai, he did this. And I feel as if that love don't gotta be where you gotta put fear in someone to get them to do what you want them to do. You see? And you know, and that's what Anubai or Anubis, he represented in showing you, and also feeling you and showing you. And most definitely, I feel as if that he was a healer, cause he was the same type of the same angel. Keep in mind, he's the same angel, same God as Thanatos, the God of non-violent death. Death's only conscience that we choose to be in. He was known to purify the spirits after death and heal them so they can awaken back up and start their journey back again. And that's why, and when it came down to my video, I talked about the ethers and the darkness of the ethers. I came to realize that in the darkness is, yeah, that's where we came from. But remember, this is that the darkness is not. There's nothing. There's light in the darkness. It's just that you gotta find where is the healing aspect, and that's what Thanatos or Anubis or Nubai or Ampu, what they represented, and they chose to sacrifice what they value to help someone else, and that's what I've done. That's what the Christ did, the infinite name of Christ. That's what he did. You never know. He may have been the same person. Who knows, right? But yeah, I mean, this symbol speaks it all, you know. I know I got a. This is deep. It's a Wanus. But I'm gonna talk about this later in another video. This is very special. But I have the Ankh right here of life. All right, and guess what? I'm created a shield right there for this, and this represents guarding life, protection, fortification, right? Shielding that life, protecting that life. You see? But are we doing it in a conscious manner? Is it worth me protecting someone that does not love me, or does? But at the same time, I realize that someone true, and I know a lot of us, many of us may be quote unquote naive. Oh my God, oh my goodness, these words though. I kind of don't like the word naive, but it sounds negative. But people that are naive and people that are vulnerable and people that move into vulnerability, they are your most loving people. What I've learned on my journey, and that they fully understand the dark aspect, and they don't want to ever be in the dark aspect because they're in tune with their quote unquote God self. They know what fear is. They know what hate is. Therefore, with the pyramid, right, on the bottom of the pyramid, fear, hate, the only way you can rise is through love, right? This is the true nature of the Dog Star of Sirius. I really hope that it is. And I think this is what Anu himself represented, because I feel like he had to have been very imaginative, because I feel like he probably made all the stories himself. He may have gave it to our ancestors back then. Who knows? You know? And he took so much pride in it that he forgot one aspect. That you cannot, he forgot one thing. Was that we can't be too much in our ego based on what we create. And this is what I've learned along my journey myself. I feel like, man, I know all this information. I feel like, man, I can't, I don't know, should I share this or not? Is it really be worth something? You know, when I was like, man, you know what? This truth is not just for me, it's for everybody. And I didn't really have to second guess that. Really, it was automatic because all my life I've really been given. You know, I got a track record of giving throughout my time. And you know, it's sad how in this life that we have to wait so long into being a career where we can fully give. And you see what I'm saying? And I think that's why our ancestors had all these teachings in the pyramid back then, when they actually went out and applied what they learned in the temples, and they learned about life. You see? And there's no doubt that this was a part of it, the Caduceus. No doubt. The wisdom from here, from Sirius, had to have been applied. You know, it probably was applied. You see? So, but I give much honor, and one thing with this is that I feel as if that Thutmose, let me include that, Thutmose, I feel as if that he actually knew of this. He was aware of this. You know, I think he desired to actually provide this information. You know, that's just my own intuition by it. That's on my own perception. But to me, I don't know, it just makes sense to me. You know? So yeah. But here's the big one, right? Based on, this is what I'm very proud of right here, and this is basically a vision. And this is not only my vision, this is also your vision. But the thing about it, you don't have to accept it. I don't want you to live my reality. You see what I'm saying? I don't want, because we've been living actually many realities all this time in our lives, really. Every single day you wake up, you know, according to the doorway, right? So before this stage is reached of the androgyny stage, I had created a systematic, say one thing. I thought about what our ancestors probably had used, because it was said that in the days of Kush, during the times of Kush, or the time of the sun, the time of Tamaray, the time of the pygmies, it was said that the women were taught sacred things, sacred, symbols and so forth, and all ancient knowledge first before man did. And I was like, wait, okay, so if the pyramid was made from the top down, most definitely everything that we knew came from the top down to us. And I came to realize that there was something I had to figure out. And so I have no doubt in my mind that there was before this level was reached, this is big for the woman. She has to go through the same path, right? And I mean, these again, this is not based on an initiation. I don't see it as that. I see it as a level of technicality and practicality based on your evolution in life, based on if you are worthy for being a rightful prince, or a rightful king, or a rightful princess, or a rightful queen. You see, or rightful pharaoh, or what I call a pharaoh-s, okay, or a chief, a male chief, or a female chief, right? This I conclude all this in my mind when I'm thinking about this. This doesn't have all to do with ancient Kemet. This has to do with all parts of civilization and all parts of the tribes. But I have no doubt that this is the stage when you become a true king. This is the stage when you become a true queen. And that you have to surpass the four orders of divine femininity in my mind. And I thought that was used back then, because there was no way for you to become a king if a group of women didn't choose you. And, you know, we talk about polygamy and things like that. I think this could be based upon a stand. I mean, I don't want to say the standard. It doesn't even matter anymore. But, you know, the women create the standard of how many wives you'll have and so forth. But the decision rests with the women. Okay? And the thing about it, but it doesn't really gotta do with relationship or anything like that. It just, or it just means this could even also mean your time of reigning, your time of becoming that. And so this four divine feminine, I had looked at basically for the four primal goddesses, or actually, yeah, the four primal goddesses of ancient Kemet in comparison with the time of Tamaray. And these four primal goddesses were Lusaset, Hathor, Sachet, and Mut. Okay, and also included as far as when it came down to our connection, this wouldn't have occurred if we overstood nature. You see, overstood nature, and that's the source of us being tentacle, going out, experiencing. We have to go through experiences to apply what we've learned from the classroom or from at home, right? From our parents, right? We have to assess these things, right? In our own ways. That's why our ancestors had these quote unquote initiations. I don't want to call it initiations, but that's what they were. But right, Mother Nature. All right, connecting to that because it teaches you so much. It has expression. Okay. All right, now you have from there you're going from the level of offset. Okay. And I got the waves in here, the water, the clarity, right? And also with Ma'at, right? The scale. But the original Ma'at, okay, was how pure your heart was based on your alkalinity. Was your heart, it came to realize if your heart is pure, not just pure based upon your actions, but also pure, the origin of those actions has to be based on how you treat your body or how you treat that heart. Is it a healthy heart? Is it pumping well? Because if it's pumping well, you're gonna get information stimulated within you a lot quicker, and you better be who you are, right? And the scales of my eye represents I am proud. I have pride. I have dignity, respect, honor within myself. Okay, to surpass the scales of my eye. But the thing about it is that we don't meet this after we pass away. Okay? This was already done. This was done right down here. Are we able to heal ourselves to get to this point? To become a rightful king or queen? Right? This is what this is about. Mother Nature. Alkalinity. The true alkalinity, right? Immortality. Will you be the first person in line out of all the people to lead your people towards salvation and prosperity? I know that was a way of a chief, right? If there was a famine, we gotta go. We gotta move into that willpower, right? Use that heart, right? That pure heart to go ahead and apply this knowing, the knowing aspect. That's how we know from the purity, the connection to lead. And this it was based upon back then. Based on the primal way. It was the primal way. You had to be original to be chosen. You had to be living from within the Caduceus. You had to be of learning. You had to be of healing, self-healing, healing for others, not just for yourself. Being in service to the universal prime creator, source energy, right? To get to this level. Okay? And that's why I have that with there. And I think that's basically what that is used. This is what this is used. This is only just shows that this is like the queens on the round table deciding, okay, wait, or in the whole entire tribe or civilization, thinking like, okay, who's the rightful queen? Who's the rightful queen? Who's the rightful queen and king for or vice versa, or our rightful king, if you will, for the reign. Okay. And they'll decide who most definitely if you have a relationship, you'll decide whether or not. You'll decide most definitely. If it doesn't really matter, but I'm just saying that the queen, you had a queen original, a queen yourself, most definitely she'll be with you. Okay, this is all about knowing who is of service to not just themselves but for other people. Okay, and that's basically what it's all about. Do they express who they truly are? And that's really, I think, are they loving? How they surpass the level of how they surpass the level of basically being true to themselves. And that's why I think the scales of my eye is probably like the setup is kind of like so complex, because I feel like it had to do with so many thoughts of choosing a particular person. But I think that in most cases, the source basically was the do what, and we already know what that do what is, right? I ended up scratching that name off, and the reason why I did that was because I was like, okay, well, I came to realize that there's a do what for every god and goddess. When I thought about it, those 3 nights, those 3 nights, and during those nights, right? When you're chosen, you had to be in the deep rest for 3 straight nights, and I feel as if that during those 3 straight nights, you actually learn within the consciousness of your sleep, right, from the past kings. Or even queens. You see? Or you may end up seeing the source energy that was responsible for the creation of the cosmos. But the thing about it is that I don't think, and that's my interpretation, and I don't want to be like, okay, well, I'm making a whole new way of thinking. It's just that I don't think it was really just based upon just the kings. You see, I really think that if you were chosen by the women, then most definitely they had in the consciousness in your travel, when you travel the stars for 3 straight nights, right? You end up ingesting the consciousness of the all to lead. And I feel as if if this was not done in ancient Kemet, and if it was just based on Osiris, then this had to have existed probably on Atlantis. And that I feel like some of this teaching comes from Atlantis. Keep in mind, Total Island itself, part of me, again, is new information that says Atlantis is here, or Atlantis is somewhere else, or Antarctica, or another part of the world that we don't even know anything about. That's unknown to us, And so I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, it may not even matter. Atlantis is just a form of an idea. It's only it's an idea. You see, it's only a name. You see. But I feel as if that much of these teachings came from many places. But there's a reason why the duat exists, and I feel as if that that consciousness that you have prior to leaving this vessel, ingesting the consciousness and wisdom of those kings and the queens, assisted you in reigning. Because they say that our children, our ancestors return through our children, right? So in essence, that means that if that's the case, that means that our children will need assistance in learning and healing themselves and healing other people, all right, from learning to be able to get to this point, to go to the next level, to not just learn from the parents, but learn from all aspects of what was created before. And I think that's what the true nature of the Duat was. And really, that there's the androgyny. I feel like the Duat would bring that level of unity back to where we was. And I think Anu, he knew of the Duat, but there are many Duats. You see, there are many Duats, and that basically, if you feel like you have been connected with an angel spiritually, okay, and you just have all this wisdom, all this knowledge, and it's in you, that meant that that you may have experienced the duat with a particular divine being. Who knows? And you just got all this knowledge when you woke up. How about that? You see, so and I feel that the duat may not be just based on the 3 nights. It could also be based upon your spiritual connections. You see, and the only way we get to that is being vulnerable. Along my journey, I've allowed dark energy get to me, attack me. I've let positive energy heal me. You know, I've been attacked all the way through, and I came to realize that I'm not doing rituals or nothing like that. I'm just letting it be. You know, I'm allowing the struggle, but yet I'm actually triumphing through this. You see, and so yeah, this is how we get to this point: vulnerability and understanding that, you know, say getting through chaos and applying order to this, and moving into a level of this is within ourselves. Okay, this is all within yourself, all the way. Always live within the Caduceus, right? And this is really what I designed. This is my way of presenting the Caduceus, what I've created, okay? And you know, I'm giving a homage to Andromeda. I'm giving homage to the Universal Prime Creator, most definitely. The Queen Cobra, Medusa. All right. Galactic Confederation Light. That's key. And that's big. Let's see, the divine archangels, loving archangels, true archangels, righteous archangels, okay? Divine feminine energy, the moon, all right? Orion. But I came to realize now I could go and write that down and include the sun too, because I came to realize that if we're not separate, right, from each other, that meant that both man and woman represent the moon and the sun. You can go back to Kemet, and they had male deities that also represent the moon. You see, and those I added the crescent moon right here. Once again from this one. Through the crescent moon is going back for us connecting to our dark side, but at the same time, it's not it's nothing evil. It's just a way of evolving, you see. All right, something may be hidden, okay, but that doesn't mean that it's not of love, you see. So, but that's how we move away from manipulation, you see. Okay, and yeah, this is really it. Yeah, the bringing back the loving aspect right here, right? Taurus, all right, the crescent moon. Shu and Tefnut, yin yang. Let's make order and chaos cohesive, right? The way we make order and chaos cohesive is by realizing that, hey, the chaos desires symbols, okay? References, okay? And that reference is the stories. You can say it, the myths. But the thing about it, these stories are only used to teach us a lesson. You see? So this is where you move into becoming a wizard. A true wizard. Not a wizard that is just based upon doing good things or bad things. It's based upon you refraining from the good and the bad and using it for the betterment of all. Okay. Based on what's within you. All right. And this is where we move into our kingship all the time, most definitely. And usually when this happens, usually when we reign, when I told you that I knew he was ambassador of Orion, what happened was that he became the wizard. He became the wizard. So what that says is that when he became the wizard, that meant that he knew himself. That's why it was said that it was one brother. He said that he presented the story of Osiris and you know the Osiris and Set story, and he said that when Set was needed, you know, when she was in dire hardship over the death of Osiris, what happened was that Anu gave the teachings to her to bring them back together again. You see? And that's the thing. You know, that's the thing. And yeah, that's I think that's really what it was with him being the ambassador. But guess what? He's not the only ambassador. All right, you got the Galactic Federation Light, right? That's Orion right there. That's a Fucus right there, by the way. That's actually beyond a Fucus. All right, that's beyond a Fucus. That's beyond your archangels. Okay, it could be, it's beyond androgyny. That means that's where, man, you're like self-love retrograde, but at the same time you are balanced based upon that there is another side you should reference with you at all times. Okay, not he knew that he could not put too much pride, right? Or he probably knew it was pride, but the thing about it, he probably hit himself on because he had the right intentions with his imagination, with his love, and with just what he wanted to project to and make serious, right, into something he was proud of. You see, and yeah, but most days, like I said earlier, Anubi or Anubis. Okay, I think if I didn't refer to, I don't think if I did not refer to the aspect of Anubis or Anubi or Anpu, I probably wouldn't have came to the truth. Because we all are worthy to reach this level, and that's where we all should seek it. You know, and I think one, and I'm not going on, but there was one brother that, you know, I really care about spiritually, is that he said that the Christ himself, he went on a mountain by himself, and what he did was he found a way to connect with the angels, and that everything he did, he became a better healer, right? Once he connected to the angels. That's what we have to do every day, the best we can. Okay, in order for us to always live in the Caduceus, because they will remind us, they will observe us, and they will see what we're doing, and guide us toward truths. And that's how we got to this point. That's how I've gotten to this point, and I am so thankful for it so much. And keep in mind that I know that a lot of brothers say they're King Tut, right? They only say that because they say it only because they feel like they have to be the savior, right? They say that only because that there was something that's in their mind, something they knew that made them feel like that they were ready for a particular reign. But the thing about it, I feel like King Tut is only a label. King Tut's only a label. You know, King Tut, like I said, in the flesh, could have been somebody totally different. You see? Who knows? He may have been a fucus himself, right? Who knows? But I'm telling you right now that we all, as males, we all are a fucus. All right? This is coming from a fucus. All right? That's why people argue whether or not he existed or not, because he exists within all of us. Notice how, like, you know how the movie in the Predator, well, not the Predator, well, yeah, you know how the movie in the Predator movie, they don't, or if you go back to my Instagram, right, and it has a male with the staff, and he has the golden Ra helmet on. He's not showing his face. There's a face on Mars beside the highly melanated woman on Mars, and there's a male that has a helmet on too. I'm thinking it's like it may be a bird, actual being that's a bird. Who knows? Or it may be the fact that it's an actual male just like us, except he's wearing something to cover his face. So what does that tell you? Is that what if our ancestors in the cosmos, the males specifically, they may, as warriors, they had to hide their face, because you never know if they look exactly like us. You know, people talk about clones and what have you, right? In this reality. I don't know. I hope I'm not overthinking this, but the thing about it is that sometimes you got to question everything, you know? Because you don't even know who's who at the end of the day. So yeah, I think it's going back to that movie, The Predator. And like, there's an image I get in my mind, and someone shared this on Instagram, where you have people wearing the Pharaoh helmet, right? Like King Tut. Yeah, like King Tut, right? Coming down on the four corners of the pyramids with a staff, and there's a mask over their face. You can't see, you don't know who they are. So maybe, my brothers, when we go into the level of a fucus and evolve, we may end up, and when we're in service to what is true, you know, or if something happens in the cosmos based on manipulation, we have to cover our face. You know, we have to hide. It's like shape-shifting, almost. Huh. That's something. But that's something I wanted to really point out based upon this information. Caduceus never showed his face, by the way. I don't think so. And when I project him in my mind, I don't think he showed his face. I think he actually, he didn't show his face, maybe because he always saved the day. But the thing about it, he didn't save it based upon just in fighting. He healed it. He healed because he knew the ways of the Caduceus. When it applies to man, and it also applies to the woman. So yeah, here it is. I thank you. I love you. I know it's a huge video I just did. A lot of information. But during these times, I felt like it was the right thing to do. And for the sake of our evolution, most definitely. And yeah, it's something I'm very proud of, as you can know. And yeah, unto you, I love you. And just remember, when it comes down to the Caduceus overall, always remember to always live within the Caduceus. 100%. Based on learning, healing, and loving for you to evolve. I love you infinitely. Peace.